Hi everyone on Facebook, going live. I'm about to go live on Instagram too. Going live, going live. Hello Instagram, hello Facebook. How is everyone doing? Welcome to the Q&A about eating fat-free today. I'm so excited to do this with you guys. It's always fun to be on the social webs with my tribe. How are you all doing? Can you all hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know. I've got some cool surprises for you guys tonight. Very happy to share some new stuff. Hi, Carissa. Hi, Jolene. Collecting Compassion. Hi. Me too. I'm super stoked about this. This is going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, I'm super excited. So this, just so you know, my stand for my phone on Insta keeps like falling on me. So I'm just gonna fix it a little bit. If you see the camera moving, that's what's going on. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Everyone's hello on Facebook. How are you guys doing? Michelle Queenbee, hi. No, Michelle McQueen. Hi, Sue Erickson, hi, Estelle, Trish, First Day, and Sherry, Terry, Samantha, Megan, Kayleen, Terry, hey, lovely lady, back at you. Mrs. Fat Bastard, hey, Carol, how are you? Let's be healthy and kind. Awesome, you guys are so great. So who's excited for the Q&A today? Are we gonna do some jamming? Who's gonna jump on here? You all had written in a bunch of questions, so I'm gonna just get on with answering them, okay? It's gonna be fun. All right, cool. So today's topic is how to eat fat-free and all that comes with doing that. And I've been really focused on eating a lot of fat-free in the last few weeks. And I really wanna keep going with it. For myself, for as long as possible, I find that I function the best when I'm eating this way. So I know it's best for me. I know it's best for my liver. I know it's best for my whole diet. And, you know, my body really loves it. What can I say? The body does not lie. So listen to her or him, depending what body you live in. And just follow and listen, because sometimes you'll have people who, hey Sean, who can handle that. Sometimes people struggle with handling that. And we're going to talk a little jamming about detox and stuff like that, which is going to be kind of fun and kind of cool. Okay, plus, I have an awesome surprise for you guys today, a gift that's going to be available as we go down this live for everybody. Everybody gets it today. All right, so I'm going to pull up the questions that you guys submitted on Instagram. Lots of questions. So, all right, here they are. Let's start with the first one. So how many of you, give me a thumbs up icon. Tell me how many of you have tried a fat-free protocol, done a fat-free diet. It doesn't have to be raw. You don't have to have done it all raw, but that you've done fat-free, either cooked or raw or both. Can you give me a thumbs up if you've done that? If you've tried it? Hey, Susan Wolf, so many people saying hi. Anna, Emily, Alyssa, Kaneen, oh my gosh, Lisa, Wilco, Megan, Magda, hi. So yeah, give me a thumbs up. So many of you are saying that you've tried fat-free. So how did it go for you? Was it easy? Did it come naturally to you? Did you have to struggle a little bit with it? What really made it work or didn't make it work? Everybody has a little bit of a different experience with doing it. So some people can do it and they just switch over and they're fine. And some people really can really struggle and it doesn't feel so good. So if you have done fat-free and it was super easy, drop the number 1 in the comments. And if you did fat-free and you struggled in any way, drop a number 2 in the comments, just so that everybody can see what, you know, a general experience can be like. So lots of number 1s. Somebody said I lasted a week. So lots of number 1s. If you struggled in any way, drop a 2. If you struggled in any way trying to go fat-free, drop a 2. 2, 2, 2. Not very easy. It was easier when I added in cooked foods. Yes. Okay, so I want to jam about why that happens. Why is it that some people can do it really easily? Why do some people struggle? It's never easy. And then sometimes you do it the first time and it's easy, and some people try it again and it's not so easy. And that can be a little bit of a mind screw, right? Like, what happened there? How come? So we're going to talk about all those things. Yes, Lisa Olko, fat-free and salt-free is very, very hard. It starts to make you realize how much we actually are addicted to fats and to salt. So who listened to Anthony's show on blood toxicity earlier this week? He talked about, actually, he's never actually mentioned it so much before, but he really got into why salt isn't really good for us. And he really went at that. High raw fat-free was hard as hell. Needed cooked foods. Healing broth helped a lot. Yes, that's why we include it. Healing broth. That's so good. Collecting Compassion, you listened, it was mind-blowing. It was a mind-blowing show, right? He really let on a lot of cool information that he hasn't focused on as much before. I'm sure he's said it all before, but he hasn't focused on it as much before. So let's talk. All right, here are the questions. All right, so first question is, I have been fat-free for 30 plus days and have been craving avocados and cashews. Would it set me back if I had some? So, you know, adding in a little bit of fat here and there is totally fine. Like if you have done fat-free for 30 days and you want to add in a little avocado, I have no problem with that. I think that could be fine to do. However, if you added in too much fat, like nuts and seeds and all of that good stuff, I think that could potentially cause a problem. I'm just going to let this Instagram feed just be as it is because it seems to be happy in that position. Okay, so if you added back some, then I think that you could be fine. I just think that you need to be careful about not adding in A, too much, and B, a fat that's super digestible, like avocado. Okay, and also avocado has a lot of fructose in it, so that would be really cool to know because it's not all fat. Everybody thinks that avocado contains all fat. It's not all fat. It's a high amount of fructose in avocados. So Kirsten Ramstrom from Ubud, oh my gosh, enjoy all the raw food there. They've got some great restaurants. Melanie Stewart says he was hopped up a bit. He was pretty excited. That's true. He was pretty excited. Okay, so next question is, can it be harmful to the body to totally exclude healthy fats for too long, even if we're ill? Okay, so I want to share something with you guys. Very important thing. Very key. It's a nuance. So a lot of you who are here learning, some of you are new, some of you have been here a while, some of you are really doing MM and have been doing it for a while, and you really got it down, and you really, you're really going with it. And some of you might be new. So if you're new, drop an icon. If you're new, if you've been doing it less than 6 months and you are new to the community online, drop an icon, any icon in the comments so I can see how much of our community is actually new and how much is veteran, because that's how I'll cater my discussion today based on that. So if you're new, I do want to address some things that are kind of like basics for people. And so we've got a few people on Instagram who are dropping in the icons so that they're new. I've got at least 10 people showing up there saying that they're new. So if you're on Facebook and you're new to the community, also drop an icon so I can see. So there's quite a few people who are new. That's great. That's actually really great to see, because we want this information to get out to as many people as possible, and we want to be able to address as many people as possible, bring them into the fold, share the information, and share this truth that is really helping people heal. So if you're new, I want you to know that you don't have to go fat-free immediately. Okay, we're talking about a discussion that's a little bit more advanced. Typically in the beginning, when Anthony first used to start coaching with people, and he would, you know, tell it, like when I was a client, he would say, you know, eat raw until 4 o'clock, right? So the first level of detox is to go raw until 4 o'clock. And that's why, if you see on my website, I have a free download called Not All Raw, because it includes the cooked meal in the evening. Now, many people do really well with that because it's a really gentle detox. Some people cannot do well with that, but many people do really well with the raw until 4. And if you're trying to get to that next step of progressing to do either all raw or being completely fat-free, again, if you're new, I don't recommend doing both at once. I would do raw until 4 for at least a few months before you then start to do some all raw days. Again, you don't want to launch into all raw because, again, it's super detoxifying and it's super healing too. You have to understand that raw food is food that is the most digestible food. Even though people will say they get gassy on raw food, it's hard to digest raw food, they get gastric issues with raw food is actually like a vacuum cleaner. It goes into your gut and it starts to pull all these toxins out, and it pulls old debris and trapped gases. So that's why we feel like our gut isn't doing well with them, but actually raw food is really easy to digest on the gut. It's easier. In a healthy gut, raw food digests much better and easier than any cooked food. So but there's nothing wrong with cooked food. So healthy cooked food like steamed veggies or baked and grilled veggies, you know, soups and things like that, it's really important to be aware that it's not gonna harm you to eat foods like that. However, if you're, like I said in the beginning of the journey, it's really important to start with doing like a raw till 4 and then doing a few all raw days. Now, I want to go into doing the fat-free because I advise some people when I'm talking to clients to actually, instead of doing all raw, actually go fat-free with cooked and raw foods. So what I tell them is to stay with the raw until 4 and then do fat-free, meaning you do fat-free raw in the morning and cooked fat-free in the evening. Does that make sense to you guys? It can actually be a really gentle way to really get into this. And Beth says here, it took me 2 years on Anthony's protocol before I was ready to do his 28-day cleanse. And I can't even explain how much better I feel now. But so he's saying that this is a really important, Beth is saying, she's saying that you have to go slow. Not everybody can just launch right into it because you can't go raw. I've had a client who took her 3 years to be able to go raw. So going raw tends to be a little tougher, but if you take these steps to get there, you can get there. So raw until 4 o'clock. And then if you want to take that next step and go more fat-free, then you can progress towards an all raw day. Okay? I hope that that's making sense. Okay, so the question that was here, can be harmful to exclude fats forever? No, it isn't. You know, if you look at the live that Anthony did with Robbie Barbero, he was actually talking about Robbie's diet, who's a type 1 diabetic and who eats fruits and greens. He has like no fat in his diet. So because what he's doing is he's trying to optimize his body's use of insulin and make the liver as healthy as possible to be able to handle all that glucose that he's sending into it. And it really helps you have the lowest, he's able to go very low insulin because of that. So, so he's been doing that for years, and it is totally possible to eat that way and be super healthy. And if you take a look at this guy, he is nice and toned. He looks really athletic. And so people say, like, where's your protein? You know, you don't need a lot of protein. I think Anthony's put that one into another radio show on protein. And so it really doesn't, you don't need to have protein. Like, there is protein in plant foods. But again, he's on a no overt fat. So I want to clarify this. So when I say no fat or fat free, I'm talking about no overt fat. So no overt, avocado, oils, nuts, and seeds. However, every living cell has glucose, carbohydrates, like saccharides, lipids, which are fats, and amino acids, which are proteins. So they have the building blocks of all of them. So there are fats included in plant foods, even in fruits and vegetables that don't seem to have any fat in them. The key to doing this diet correctly is to make sure that you're getting enough greens. And the reason the greens are important is because they contain the microfats that you need in order to get the fat intake to keep you healthy. A lot of people think that if you don't do that overt fat, that you won't be healthy, but you can totally be healthy on zero overt fat, as long as you include a high amount of greens. Okay. Okay. Jolene says plants and gorillas. It's true. If you look at, like a couple of 100-pound gorillas, and you see what they eat fruit and they eat leaves, but mostly fruit. Okay. All right, cool. And the reason that, people can be athletic and muscular on a fruit and greens diet is because the thing that you need the most to build muscle is carbohydrate. And you need to use the muscle. So you need mineral salts from the greens, you need carbohydrate, you need to use the muscle. Okay. All right, so next question. Will healing chronic illness slow down a lot if we don't go 100% fat-free? No, it won't slow down a lot. Everybody is different. Everyone has a different capacity to go raw. Everyone has a different set of toxins that they're dealing with in their livers. So if so I meet a lot of people from India, and I have clients from India who've been vegetarian their whole lives. And so they haven't had a lot of animal protein in their diets or animal fat in their diets, but they've been not raw, but they've been, they include some eggs, sometimes they include some milk, but really their animal intake has been lower than, say, somebody in the United States. So the amount of fat that their livers are processing is less. And that's just an exposure of their lifestyle to the toxins from animal proteins that can build up in our bodies. That's not to say they don't have issues. They do. They have a lot of issues. But I'm just comparing one factor that can be different in people. But all factors can be different. Your exposure to heavy metals can be different. Your exposure to pesticides can be different. Your exposure from your ancestors can be different. Everyone has different ancestors. So there's a lot of variables here. So will healing chronic illness slow down? If you don't know, if you're eating a lot of cooked foods, you'll definitely have slower progress because cooked food stops detox. However, if you can do a good balance between cooked and raw foods, you can go at a really good pace. Now, if you get stuck or you're struggling or something's not shifting the way you need it to, changing that diet is really important. Think about that. Then you have to, how Anthony also says, if something's not working and you feel stuck, change direction and move on, right? That's one of his quotes. So one of those things I like to apply that to is diet. So people do this raw until 4 for so long, and they, can do 2 years, 3 years, then you need to change something up. If something's not working, change it up. And one of the things that I recommend that you change it up is to either, cut out the fat for a while, so you accelerate it a little bit at that point. It doesn't mean that you won't heal, but if you need to, it's helpful. And also, yes, if you do cut it out for a little while, it will actually give relief to your liver. So it's really important. So if people are asking how many greens, I would aim for between half to a pound of greens a day to keep yourself. And if you've never done half a pound to a pound of greens a day, once you start doing that, you will notice a big change in your body. Okay, so another question is fat-free suitable when nursing? No, Anthony recommends a little bit of fat while you're nursing because you don't want to detox too much. Plus, you need it for a lot of hormonal buildup, hormones that need to get produced because it's a very hormonal kind of event when you're nursing postpartum. So you do need a little bit of fat. Also, when you're pregnant, you do need a little fat. So are some people unable to go fat-free because of their toxic load and detox being too intense? Yeah, it can happen. You cannot go fat-free and you crash. It's two things. One, sometimes it can be too much load of toxins, but other times it's because you have insulin resistance. So if you cut out the fat and you have to have, what's your calorie source, right? 2 calorie sources. You have fat as a calorie source, or you have carbohydrates as a calorie source. And if you are insulin resistant, which is like pre-diabetic, or, you know, have those unable to process sugar correctly because your liver is fatty, or liver is sluggish for any reason, and it's not really able to accommodate that, then you're going to struggle with going fat-free. So I hope that this is helpful. Is this helpful? Am I going too fast? Give me a thumbs up if if you're following everything I'm saying. So SK, can you eat that many greens with Hashimoto's? Yes, you can. Greens do not affect Hashimoto's. You'd have to be eating, Anthony says, barrels and barrels and barrels of broccoli and cauliflower and kale and all those quote unquote goitrogenic foods in order to make it unhealthy for the thyroid. But in those amounts, it's totally fine. Good to see, good to see. So everyone is following along, that's good. I'm glad it's helpful, So Diane Smith, if it's an insulin problem, what does the struggle with fat-free look like? You can't handle it. If you eat carbohydrate, you crash. And it's a swing between hypoglycemic and hyperglycemic. So it just doesn't feel good in many ways. Okay, all right, cool. Next question. Can adolescents go fat-free? Yes, they can. How long should someone be fat-free in their diet? 1 year or more or less? Well, technically, you could be fat-free forever as long as you include a decent amount of greens. But adolescents are unlikely to want to do that. So as many days as you can do is good. Doing 1 day of fat-free is better than no days. Doing 3 days is better than 1 day, and so on. You can do that math. So as long as you can get them, if you can do the 28-day cleanse with an adolescent and do 28 days fat-free, that's going to help their liver so much. So just know that every day that you do is still a climb up that ladder, right? You're still climbing. You don't have to be, one of the things that I've learned from Anthony is that A, keep it simple. B, do what you can. Don't push yourself. There's no point. This is not designed to make you get stressed. It's take the information and apply it for where you are in your life and in your health journey. Apply what can work for you that you can do without too much stress. And then as you heal, you'll be able to do more and more and more. Okay? Can the barley grass and spirulina powder count towards the greens? They do. They do. But try and include a pound of fresh greens. Okay? That's always helpful. All right, I have adrenal fatigue, EBV, strep, SIBO. When I go fat-free, why do I crave salt? Well, because when people go fat-free, actually when people are craving salt, that is a mineral imbalance in the body, also is a sign of adrenal fatigue. So most likely you've got something adrenal going on. Karen says going fat-free has increased the thickness of my hair. Wow, that's amazing. Beth says, once you start feeling better, I would say I'm 90% there, you should start decreasing your supplements. Well, if you've been symptom-free for 6 months and you've been steady for 6 months, then you can start decreasing your supplements. How come people who are fat-free get sick when they add the fats back in? Because it overloads the liver. They're not ready to add the fats in. The body wants more fat-free, so that's a signal just to keep going. Isn't a certain amount of healthy fat important for vitamin D production? I'm concerned going fat-free might not be a good idea with compromised immune systems. Anthony wouldn't recommend fat-free. His 28-day cleanse, he recommends in the first book that you try going fat-free. He wouldn't recommend that if it was harmful. It's not harmful. You have to include, like he says, right, do the spinach soup every single night. The reason he says that is because the spinach soup provides you with those greens, those micro fats in the greens that are so critical. So you don't actually compromise your immune system more. And vitamin D, he says, is not really part of the immune equation as much as people like to think it is. That's a myth. Susan says, I've only been able to do 3 days in a row totally fat-free, then I start to crave it more. Yeah. So it's true. You have to, do 3 days at a time, then try and do 3 more if you can. It really kind of helps. Arlena, you like the mandala? Thank you. I love it too. It's one of my favorite pieces of art. So does juicing greens count? Yes, it totally does. Juicing greens counts. Okay. Karen says, I've never had more energy since going fat-free. Me too. I am like a Energizer bunny going fat-free. It's really quite amazing what opens up in your body. So it's really helpful. What mineral can you take to curb salt cravings? Celery. Celery to curb salt cravings is celery. Okay. I am going to go back to the questions. All right. So what's the most important thing to remember when going fat-free? Oh my gosh, you've got to eat enough carbs, because you come off the fat and you don't really change the amount of carbs that you're eating. You're going to feel more hungry and you're going to under-calorie yourself. And then you're going to be like crashing because you're like, I can't do this. You just don't realize how important it is to include a ton of carbohydrates and fruit and potatoes and sweet potatoes. So when I first started going fat-free, I included potatoes even for my afternoon meal, because when I started to feel like I was crashing, they would catch me and keep me going. I didn't care that I was not raw till 4 or not doing raw all day, because I was getting so much more benefit out of just being fat-free. So it's really important to remember that. How do you achieve a creaminess without fat for dressings especially? I like to, you kind of get used to not having things creamy. Salads, by the way, are the hardest things to eat fat-free. So I try to avoid them unless I've got potatoes with them. So if I've got steamed potatoes or steamed sweet potatoes or steamed delicata squash with my salad, I try to not eat a salad because it's just hard to eat it fat-free. I'm getting used to eating a salad with nothing on it, or you can use the raw sriracha sauce recipe that is on Anthony's website, which is fantastic. Really helps you. It's a fat-free sauce. It helps you go. It helps you stay fat-free. His ketchup recipe is also fat-free, I believe. And so there's a number of sauces he has that are fat-free as well. So if you add those sauces, they're usually based with like fruit and honey bases. Like sometimes I put mango, garlic, ginger, cilantro in a dressing, and it's just delicious. So in my gift that you're gonna get, Jackie's already been posting it. There's a free download for a raw and fat-free meal plan. And I labeled it to keep your belly full and your mind sane. So while you're trying to do this and to give you ideas. So you're welcome to go and download that. It's for free. It's to help you. So I've made a meal plan with recipes to help you plan your day so that you get enough calories and you get enough ideas on what to do a fat-free and raw day. You can take the plan and work it for 1 day. You can take the plan and work it for 28 days, because I think there's enough variety and things like that to help with that. Another thing that I like to do in my recipes is sometimes include things like raw squashes. They can help to bring a little bit more creaminess to it. One of the things like yellow squashes or zucchini can be really great to add a little oomph and bounce and like, yeah, a little creaminess. I don't really consider that too creamy, but it's a little creamy in that effect. And I've also included steamed potatoes in some of my dressing recipes. I've included steamed sweet potatoes and blended them up with something else as a dressing, and it actually really hits the spot. So I'll be sharing more of those recipes on social media. just in ideas and things that I'm doing to stay on course with fat-free. It's a lot of innovation, but it really works. Okay, so mangoes are one of my favorite things for a raw and fat-free or even fat-free dressings. Mangoes are amazing. Mangoes are, for me, a game changer. You know, even papayas are good. Papayas, tomatoes, they can really add a really amazing flavor. One of the things I tried was a plum dressing. That was really good. So I'm just, you know, throwing out ideas for you guys because it's really, really helpful to have that. Okay, so next up, I'd love to have some fat-free salad dressings. Can you offer some recipes? Yes, there are some recipes for fat-free salad dressings in the handout. Go download it, download it. It's in there. It's on the link that Jackie's sharing. It's not yet on my website. So you guys who are on this live get first dibs on this handout. So I'm sharing some of those, and on social media, I'm going to be sharing some more fat-free dressings. Okay, so there's a lot of questions about dressings. So does fat-free mean no nuts, seeds, avocado, or coconut? Correct, and no oils. So that's what fat, no overt fats. Remember, it's no overt fats. So my plum dressing is plums, tomatoes, a little honey, maybe half a slice of a mango, and some ginger. And you throw all that in a mix and pour that on top of lots of greens and cucumbers and onions and things like that. And it's just this like really great flavor. Somebody said dates. Yeah, dates are another favorite one of mine to add into salad dressing because they add that thickness, and actually they can make it also creamy. So if you try like something like zucchini, dates, garlic, ginger, a little orange juice, that's a really cool dressing. That really, really is yummy. I hope I'm like throwing out some good ideas for you all, because I think that that's what everybody needs is like ideas. I'm going to open up a thread on both Facebook and Insta where we can all come on and share our fat-free dressing, so that if you find a really good dressing that you love, come and post it on my thread so that other people can benefit from it too. And I think that that's really half the battle, right, is having ideas of good things to make and what good combinations are. And a lot of what we try is by experiment, right? And we figure out, oh, this worked really well. Kathy, you can sub papaya. Okay, so why do some women lose their periods going fat-free or when reducing fats? That's actually what makes you lose your period is Epstein-Barr and not going fat-free necessarily. One of the ways you can lose a period is if you don't get enough calories, and that's the problem I was talking about earlier, that many women actually don't eat enough because we're used to eating the same quantities. So I'll give you an idea. The other day, let's take yesterday. Yesterday was a hard day for me with fat. I was craving a lot of food. I was super hungry. So in the morning, I start my morning off with lemon water. Then I did my celery juice. Then I do my smoothie. Then I have a bowl of fruit. Like I've been posting my bowls of fruit. They're giant, like they're like that big, right? Really big bowls of fruit. I have that. Then I was hungry again. So I had my salad with potatoes. And then I was hungry again a few moments after that. And I had made these potato cutlets, which is actually my grandmother's recipe that they're fried typically, but I didn't fry them, I baked them. And I had a tomato sauce with it, and I had that. And then like 2 hours later, I made those potato wraps that Shweta, has the recipe that I shared with you guys. And I had that stuffed with a salad, and I was so hungry. So that's the thing, like you have to feed your body high amounts of fruits and veggies, because if you don't, you're gonna struggle. And that's going really like not eating enough calories can also make you lose your period. But really what makes you lose your period and your menses is ABV. So a combination of the two can do that. But if you're like severely under calorying yourself, it will do that too. Making someone hungry. Yeah. I mean, I ate right before because I know it's talking about food and I get hungry. So I've been sharing a lot of the recipes and feeding myself some. Catherine says peach, orange juice, and cayenne. Ooh, that sounds good. What changes have I seen from being fat-free? I haven't done fat-free for 6 months. Kirsten, you may have missed my update, but I was moving. And while I was moving, I had to start eating fat again because I just couldn't do it. And so I started it again after I moved. So I would say like 5 weeks, 6 weeks so far. And the changes that I've noticed are increased amounts of energy, sleeping really, really well at night. Like my sleep has become so much more sound and restful, and I wake up energized in the morning, which I never used to do. I was so tired. And also just losing swelling all over my, my arm that was still having swelling in it from the bite that I had 18 months ago. So that actually has reduced, which it was kind of stuck for a while. So those are some of the changes. So Susan, you found it on the website. Cool. It wasn't up when I went live, so maybe my team put it on there. So the download's available on the website. So fat-free, you have no hard detox symptoms. No, because I've been using a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes. I am planning in the next few weeks to go raw and fat-free, and that should be interesting. But I'm taking it slowly because you know what? There's no rush. And I have to do this in a way that I can be sustainable with it, and I want to do it in a way that makes it like easy for me to commit to, and I don't want to take on a burden too much that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm committing to fat-free raw for like the next 6 months, and boom, like I'm not able to do that because it was too much too soon. Okay, what substitutes can we add so food isn't too dry or hard? I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm not sure what you mean. Whoever asked that question, if you're listening, could you give me an example of what you mean? Because I'm not clear I understand that. Deanna says we can't do raw potatoes. You can do raw potatoes. I made raw potato juice with apples the other day. Dang delicious. So yummy. What are some detox symptoms when going fat-free? See, detox will happen for different people in different ways. So detox symptoms are detox. You could get a headache, you could have more cravings, you could have a rash breakout as your liver's like, boom, I can get rid of more toxins because there's no fat, right? Or you could get super hungry and under calorie stuff, and that's a symptom. It's not a detox symptom. That's a not getting enough calorie symptom, but people will say, well, I can't do it because, it's a detox. I detox too fast. If you go fat-free with enough cooked carbohydrates that are steamed and no oil in them, you should not have really hardly any detox symptoms, but you'll start to feel better. Vlada says, Vlada, you should post this. Anyone who posted a recipe idea, post it on my page on the, we're gonna do this tomorrow. Favorite fat-free dressings, mango, red bell pepper, scallions, or garlic. Yes, I've made a version of that. That is so delicious. So another question, I'm very underweight, trying to gain weight currently. Will going fat-free help me gain weight, or will muscle continue losing? So you have to understand, I think Anthony actually talked about this on his live. The live he did the other night on Insta and at Facebook. Somebody said about, if I go fat-free, will I lose weight? You don't lose weight because of fat. You lose weight because of calories from carbohydrates. Is that clear? I just want everyone to get that. Muscle is built from carbohydrate, greens, and using it, really. So another thing that I've noticed while going fat-free is that I can work out, as I've been working out a little more. So I can work out and have really great sustained energy afterwards, which I used to feel really tired afterwards, and I'm just not feeling that these days. Plus, I've noticed, because I've increased my intake of fruit and carbs, I can feel my muscles getting stronger in the core of my body. So you have to understand, like I've had 3 kids, and since, for like 10 years or so, 11 years, I have not really done deep workouts because I was either pregnant or nursing, or pregnant and nursing, and had no time like to take care of myself. So I started to move my body a little bit more, and I find that I can breathe better because the oxygen is getting to my muscles more easily because there's no fat in the way of that transportation mechanism, which needs glucose to happen, right? So the glucose is far more available to my body, which makes all body functions function better. Wow, like this is really advanced stuff. I normally don't do this stuff on the live, but I figured, everyone's doing it. We should all get on it and really talk about it. Does eliminating fat means no more avocado? Yeah, look, if I'm committing to go fat-free for the rest of the year, at least a year from now, and will I not eat any avocado? No, I will. I'll probably add a little avocado here and there. I don't see that avocado needs to be out of your diet permanently, but for the first 6 months, it will be like no avocado for me. Okay, so, all right, so will it help you sleep? Yes. Does fat-free help with menstrual cramps? Yes. So to answer the underweight question, when you cannot put on weight, it's a liver problem. Weight is a liver problem, not a fat problem. It's a liver problem and the ability of the liver to process glucose. And if the liver is really viral, then you won't be able to put on weight. He talks about this in Thyroid Healing. It's a great chapter on what your symptoms mean. You should look Mystery Weight Gain and Weight Loss. It's like page 44-ish, in that area. 44, give or take a few pages, but it's in those pages. If you want to know why weight is hard to gain sometimes, it's a liver issue and a viral issue. Okay, is it best to adjust permanently to a fat-free lifestyle? If you can, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Critical clean carbohydrates, Sean, 100% right. Okay, so how do you do fat-free more and frequently on the go? I grab fruit and celery. It's so easy. It's actually much easier than any other kind of being on the go. You just need, I go to places and I will buy cases of fruit. So farmer's market, I'm like, do you have a case of that? Do you have a case of that? And I take it away with me. And there's always now the weather's getting cooler. I can just leave a bag of apples in the car. I can leave clementines in the car. I can leave not maybe celery, but the salts, this mineral salt foods I'll take with me. But it's very easy to do once you get used to it. I recommend for the first month or so while you're getting used to it, don't try to go out too much because that's adding in too much. And also Anthony says when you're cleansing for the first time until it really becomes a lifestyle, don't do too much. You want to take it easy. Doing too much is too much adrenaline and then you don't feel good after that. Apart from energy getting better, what good or bad changes have you experienced being fat-free? I think I kind of answered that already. Bad changes, it's not bad. I'm just noticing that I'm really hungry. So hungry, you guys. It comes from the pit of your gut and you're like, ooh, I'm hungry, I gotta eat. And that's within 90 minutes. That's not even 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm not waiting that long between meals. That's quick. And I'm, reaching out for the foods much faster, much quicker. It's just, it's really, really important to do that. Recommendations when craving fat, eat more fruit. You crave fat, go eat fruit. You crave fat, go eat fruit. Because you're craving fat because you want calories. And in your brain, it knows that the fastest, densest way to get calories is to eat fat. It knows that. So it kind of just does this automatic craving. Sometimes you can be craving fat because you're actually detoxing a fat that was unhealthy for you. Could be craving that particular fat like pizza or burgers or whatever. But usually if you're craving fat because you really need more fruit. You like the download, Kayleen? Phew, I'm glad you guys like it. Download it. It's up. Wake up nauseous and sweating. That's the liver. 100%, Kathy. Go fat free. How do you eat this often at work? Oh, my clients are really kind. Meaning that they hear me on the phone. I'm either slurping a smoothie or I'm like eating my salad while I'm talking to them. So I find that for me anyway, because I'm preaching to the choir, meaning that, everybody understands. I don't think I've ever had a problem with someone saying, I can't believe you're eating on the phone. That's so unprofessional. People understand. They know that I'm, doing my adrenal snacks or I'm doing my smoothie because for me to offer those sessions at the rate that I do, because I talk for like 7 hours a day on the phone. It's a long time. So I've got to keep my energy up and I just do that. So for me, I guess it's a little different, but if you're at work otherwise and you're in an office situation, you just have to tell people that you're, following some new diet. They'll be like, fine, you got a new diet. No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna care if you just let them know that you're on a plan that requires you to eat more often. It's a grazing diet or whatever else you want to talk about, right? Can you drink a glass of red wine? You mean while going fat-free? Yeah, you probably could. Meaning it won't violate fat-free. But it does hurt your liver a little bit. And what wine does is it depletes glucose out of the brain. So if you're gonna drink wine, have a lot of fruit before, have a lot of fruit after. If you notice a lot of drinks have fruit in them, like I don't drink, I've never had a drink in my life, but a lot of drinks have fruit in them because it kind of mitigates that effect in the brain. So if you, or as Anthony likes to say, don't drink the wine, just eat the grapes. But if you're gonna drink it, then that's the way to do it. Okay. So another good question was how to introduce fats back into the diet after being fat-free for a long time. So one of the ways to do that is to start by adding in some avocados, okay? So if you add in some avocados, they are fructose, they're more than 50% fructose and the rest is more fat. So they are a high-fat fruit compared to other fruit. So in there, you can have it's like the gentlest fat that you can introduce. It's gentler than nuts and seeds. It's a fruit, right? Avocados are a fruit. So it's like the easiest one to introduce, and it's the easiest on the gut. Okay, so that brings me to the end of the questions that were submitted. Thank you guys. There's some amazing questions about going fat-free to support the liver and et cetera, et cetera. So Kirsten says everyone at work was used to me drinking smoothies while on the phone. Yeah, totally. Snack breaks are the new smoking breaks. I agree with that. MG says, I do best when grazing, as do children. How many of you guys have children or babies? Do you notice that they drink or eat a lot? Like, okay, so if you've ever nursed a baby, have you noticed like every hour, every 2 hours, right? Don't babies like to eat that often? And what does Anthony say? Graze every 90 minutes to 120 minutes. It's the same pattern as babies naturally eat and kids naturally eat. So, alternative to avocados, really, I don't think there is an alternative to an avocado. It's such an amazing fruit and very unique. It's like the copy of mother's milk, right? With fat-free help with fibroids. Well, fat-free will help your liver. So if you're on an EBV protocol for fibroids, then it will help everything, because if your liver works better, then any viral condition you're trying to heal will go away more easily and be helped by going fat-free. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Shauna says, I can't do fat-free. I can't stand eating. Such a hard time with this constant eating thing. Don't do fat-free. Just eat clean. And if you need more potatoes, eat more potatoes. If you need more sweet potatoes, eat those. But don't force yourself to do anything that you can't do. If going salt-free, would I have to avoid dulse and kelp? No, you can have those. Yeah, you can have those. All right, cool. All right, you guys, you asked some incredible questions. I am so amazed. And, you know, you guys are really smart. You should know that. You guys are super smart. You asked some really insightful questions and way better questions than most people ask me, because most people will say, where'd you get your protein? Which is not a bad question. It's just this idea of needing protein, and how much dependence we have on that, or needing fat. Like, why don't we need fat? But you guys ask deeper questions because you have good knowledge about how to heal the body, right? So I hope this was helpful today. I might straighten out my Insta. And if you guys have more questions about this, there'll be more threads coming up on social media. And, you know, people ask, is there a cleanse coming up? There is some more free webinars coming up, some free like lives coming up. And so I'm gonna, you know, hopefully get out there and be able to answer more of your questions. And as soon as we have our programs ready, I will be talking more about that when they're ready, but they're not ready yet. And so where's the download? It's on my website. And if you look, it'll be in the stories on Instagram. It's going to be in the link in my bio on Instagram. So it's getting up there and you'll be able to get it. FUEBV, doing raw and fat-free now. My fatigue is gone. High five, sister. That's so great. All right, you guys, it was so amazing jamming with you. Go get the download. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you, you know, get more supplements for yourself, as you can use this information. Jolene's like, free equals money for supplements. Yes, that's why I want to give it to you, so you can use their money for what you really need. Get the download. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Share it with your friends. Please tell people about it. If someone's contemplating going raw and fat-free, or just one or the other, share it with them. All right? I love you guys. Have a great, great night. Bye, guys.